You've been thinking about these characters, Gary the gardener, you've been feeling them for a while, but how did you make the jump from that to actually hand drawing hundreds of them and putting yourself out there? Because regardless of what the output of art is, it's vulnerable, it's scary.
I'm not scared.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. I'm not scared. I'll tell you why. I don't think of myself as special, and I definitely don't value your opinion, pro or con, in a good way. You know, I know, like, some of you I've interacted with a lot of you a lot, and some of you will come up and be like, I know you don't hear the cheering, but like, I want you to know it meant a lot. Of course that means a lot to me. I'm not saying I don't give a fuck and I'm fucking like an unemotional fucking unstoppable force. It's that I'm just in a very neutral place. It's fucking zened out for me. Like, when people are like, he's the greatest, I'm like, that's so nice. When people are like, he's a piece of shit, I'm like, you'll see. Like, it's just all kind of very chill. You know, it's all kind of very chill. And so, you know, for me, I wasn't scared of putting myself out there. To answer your question, it's super fun for D-Rock and Andy to be here, because D-Rock, did you film it, or was it Babbitt or somebody else when we did the Workplace Warrior meeting with the toy guy? You did. D-Rock and I have film that is gonna fucking rock you when we put it out. Here's some, not alpha, but like a fun thing. Like, there is a full 1 hour filmed meeting with a toy creator from Asia, consultant, where in 2018, or late 17. Oh, right before COVID. So 19? Oh, that right before? Well, this is where I'm going. Wait, yeah. No, it's even more scary, because by the time we got to those meetings, oh, you're right, because there was 18 meetings virtually, then the 19 physical that we filmed, but it started with 17. In 2017, the idea of Workplace Warriors was happening in my head, because I was getting so many DMs from so many people saying I hate my fucking job. And one time I really got upset in my office, like it was like 3 in a row, like people really unhappy. Like, just on some, like, you know, if someone's unhappy, they can write you a real masterpiece. And, you know, I'm reading this shit. And then, this is no joke, and then I'm going to the bathroom in the office, and on the walk, I just noticed that almost every cubicle had like Simpsons toys, this to that, the other thing, and I'm like, huh, people are so unhappy at work. People like to communicate through these little things and look at them. What if I made a whole universe of characters that people could put on their desk and look at, and maybe I can push my things? I think, do you remember this, Andy? I think it was Patient Parrot first in Workplace, right? I think in Workplace Warriors, it was Patient Parrot, not Panda, but the characters were already kind of happening. So it was happening. We didn't get to it because of COVID. And then with NFT World, when I understood, I'm like, when I had my eureka, I'm like, oh, this is it. I went right back to the thing that was like most in my head for a while. I started to understand utility and events and what we're doing right now. So like, they're going to be friends with each other. Oh, be friends. So it started, and that's how I put it all together.
Sometimes when we create, we expect this lightning genius moment to hit, and then we have to put it on paper. So you guys, when you're staring at your paper in a bit, might feel that pressure, but sometimes these things take time, and you don't even know if you've been developing them until they come out.
Can I yeah. It's a great call out. So we're about to go serious here. You're about to create a character, a mascot. Something profound is going to happen in this room today. I like genuinely believe one of you is going to do something right now they have no fucking idea you're about to do, and something insane is going to happen next 20 years. I'm so pumped for today's event, you can't imagine. But when you do it, to that point, which is why, thank you for giving me the mic, I wanted to say this. It's going to be like, all right, go, and you're going to be like, what the, like, you know, try to think about some shit that you've been thinking about. Like, try to think, like, the reason BeFriends is going to work is I really care about it. Like, I really do care about accountable. I'm obsessed with Accountable Ant. Like, I think about Accountable Ant every day. I'm like, one day I'm going to teach the world to be accountable, and everybody will be happy. Like, you know, I think that, like, it really matters. So you're about to do this. You could, you know, you're with your buddies, right? A lot of you are like, you know, like high schooling it up right now, sitting with your friend that you've been jamming with. But like, when you get to the part that what we're here for, give it a second, and maybe even start now, of like, what have you been thinking about? What has been true to you? What have you given a real fuck about forever? It will matter so much more than trying to come up with something clever. Or the reverse. Like, what I just said is, I don't think anybody here feels any fucking pressure about what they're about to do. I think it's the reverse. I think everybody here should realize, like, you may actually do something right now that changes the course of your life. So, not to put pressure on you, but like, no, but meaning find that in between. It's back to like that in between, right? Like, it's not pressure, but on the flip side, don't just mail it in. with what we're about to do, like push a little bit, try to remember what you feel or what you think about or what's been a consistent for you.
For sure. Well, one of the interesting things is you talked about these characters, these adjectives before the nouns are all your characters. And so in thinking about it, you didn't just say it's an ant or a swan. I love the sweet swan, not biased, but they each have a characteristic. And, we talked about the importance of making someone feel. Elisa pointed out that it was like character development in terms of the actual, symbol or the character, like the image, but it's character of values. Why the choice for putting values with these animals, which would have done great regardless, but you've always talked about leading with your values, kindness, empathy, all the things. You chose that at the date.
I don't, for a lot of people here were in my sphere and we were, that's how so many people got into V1 and there's a lot of V1 people here. Like I really had a genuine eureka moment. Like Web3 is Web2 and Web1. Like, I understand that the price of NFTs are down. That doesn't change the macro technology. So when I had the eureka moment of like, oh, fuck, this is going to be like 10 to 15 year thing again, like the last two things. But then when I put the whole, oh, fuck, this might be the intellectual property, why I was collecting Happy Days shit and Pokemon, like, oh, fuck. Like, this was like, not only like, fuck, like social media, I got to make content. I never thought anybody on earth would ever know who I was. So that was not natural. I just knew I had to make content to learn social media, so I did a wine show. But it wasn't like that's what I wanted to do. I was 30 years old. I'd never thought that anyone would know who I was. I just wanted to be a businessman. I still do, right? With this one, though, it's like, oh shit, something big's happening, but it's about something I've always cared about. I can, instead of buying Scooby-Doo and refurbishing it, I can create my own. So the second that happens, Juan, it was like, okay, I've got to take this serious. Like, what am I going to do? The Workplace Warrior thing was based on emotion for me. The whole Garyvee thing is like, I'm providing value. Like, what's value? Value comes in a million forms. The value I think I can bring at my best is I'm a good communicator that enables other humans to potentially look at something from a different angle that may unlock a happier output, a more joyful thing, a less stressful thing. Like, I really care about this. It like really fucking matters to me. It's how I originally, and all of you know this, originally I kept saying Disney, 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 Disney. A lot of you are quite astute. I mean, not like fucking German, but like, like a lot, I'm sure you noticed, or maybe when I say this, it'll hit for you. Somewhere around 9-10 months ago, I started bringing in Sesame Street a lot more. Why? Because as I've been building VFriends, I'm like, wait a minute. Jim Henson was really like, oh shit, this feels like, wait a minute, the way I feel, now that I'm learning, I'm like, it's a little more Jim Henson, Fraggle Rock to stop war, Sesame Street to create inclusion. I'm like, okay, this is like different. So like, that really matters to me. So to me, it's about the attributes. The whole thing's about empathy and kindness and patience and accountability. And by the way, competitiveness, because I really believe in being competitive. I think being competitive is extremely healthy. I think being competitive is extremely good. Like anything, if you're overboard, it's not good. Well, guess what? Drinking alcohol overboard is not good. Like, and so like, I think, for me, the whole thing's about the attributes. To me, a lion is amazing, but being logical and like us talking deeper about it matters. Like intuitive iguana is going to get a lot of momentum. Why? Why do I know that? And what? Please, no speculation. But let me explain what I mean. Lately, I've been in a very weird place. I'm like, whoa, I don't think we think about intuition enough in the world. Like the more, like, you start getting like, we're all going through our journeys. I'm like, man, if somebody like back to like, what's your spirit? If somebody like push comes to shove, like, what is it? I'm like, it's probably intuition. Like above everything else, like so much for me has been intuition, my comfort, not being scared to be intuitive. So like, as I evolve, as my team evolves, we're bringing in lots of pros and lots of things. These characters are going to evolve, but it's only about that. Like to make intuitive iguana or accountable ant super duper important is about getting people in the world to give a fuck about those two traits. So it's the whole thing for me. Do you know that the reason that I got into better shape, because you've seen Pudgy Gary in the old videos, was because I'm accountable to Mike McConty. I want to make Mike, my trainer, proud. That's what's driving me still to this day. That's why I hired a babysitter. I'm doing it for him. I think the reason I've built very good companies and the people that work for me, that know me, that like me, it's because I'm built for that. I am telling all of you to your direct basis, I feel an extraordinary sense of responsibility to all of you to make this successful. I know you're in charge of your own decisions. I fully believe that. I don't feel anything on that. Everybody here is a big boy, big girl. They could have sold before, they could have sold that. Like, you're in charge. But let there be no confusion. I feel an extraordinary sense of responsibility to make this a remarkably successful intellectual property, and to make sure that people that believed in me, that it would work out for them, win that debate they have with their friends and their relatives and their homies. And I sit here right this second without any doubt that as long as God blesses me with health, that when everybody wakes the fuck up in 30 years, that VeeFriends will be the single most successful project out of this era. And I live that truth every single day. And so much of it, like trying to make my parents proud, or trying to deliver for Mike Vacanti on my health, or doing it for Dustin and the team and Andrew and everybody else and D-Rock and Andy, that's my natural state. That's what gets me off. And I want to do that for all of you, and I'm really up for the challenge.